Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I am your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern who one day hopes to be a veterinarian because I love children. Codename Legion Cub. But I'm not blonde.
I was going to say that's from Because I'm a Blonde by Julie Brown, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. The deepest of cuts from our pal Kristian, as
Earth
always.
Girls are easy.
You can follow us on
indeed.
Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast and on X at G.I. Joe Audible. Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram is the best way to follow, though, because we will put up our sound off post every day. We're doing a live stream where you can tell us what you want us to talk about. We will do that segment later on in the show, but first we got some stuff to get out of the way. First of all, you are on the Needless Things YouTube channel, which is not only the host of the Audible Interlude live stream every other Monday and sometimes more often, but also the host of tons and tons of toy reviews and other weird things. This week, my video tour of Joe Lanta goes up tomorrow. I will be reviewing the item I purchased at Joe Lanta on Thursday, I believe. And on Wednesday, a very special unboxing. Noel, Kristian, there's a special event coming up soon. What is that event, Labor Day weekend?
Something about, is it like Monster Con? What's it called?
Ooh, that's close.
Oh, Salamander Con.
Oh, you're so close, but could it be Dragon Con?
What?
I ordered a care package, I guess, from a place called drunkendragonhotel.com. This place is amazing, and you will have to see this unboxing video to believe it. It's not really G.I. Well, it's sort of G.I. Joe related because you will see me in some of this apparel at Dragon Con. But crazy stuff. I highly recommend, if you're a fan of Dragon Con, checking out drunkendragonhotel.com and the unboxing. I think that'll go up on Wednesday. We also have our own apparel available. If you go to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, the links are there in the stories. This is our No Sleep Till Springfield shirt that you can get for yourself in many different sizes, colors, and styles. You can get a phone case. You can get all kinds of different stuff. We got lots of different things up there, including our Visit Beautiful Braca Beach shirt. Both of this one and that one were designed by our partner Slickalicious. So check out Shop Slickalicious on Instagram as well. Schedule wise, the audio version of this episode will be available this Friday. Our next audio episode, where we focus on segments. And okay, so we finished reviewing Revenge of Cobra. Finally, after 18 years. Next Friday, all the segments you love. We've got an Instruments of Destruction. We've got an America's Elite. Just no reviews, just segments. It'll be a lot of fun, a lot of snackable segments.
We got to give you all time to decompress since there's no more Honda Lou.
That's right. That's right. Never to be seen again, despite her importance to the plot. And we can also now officially announce live at Dragon Con, Audible Interlude presents Operation Snake Gun. Is our live panel at Dragon Con on September 1st, which is Friday at 1 p.m. in the Marriott M103 and 105. We are part of the Classics track. Find us in the app, which may be live now. I'm not positive.
It is.
And okay, yeah. Well, it's live now. I don't know if it's real yet. Did you notice that when it first went up, all of the events were fake?
Oh, no.
Yeah, they had a bunch of fake events like in there, like how to build a thermonuclear bomb,
Nice.
pet costume contest.
That I would actually believe,
The
knowing Dragon Con.
microplastics, the Barbie in you, Lots of funny stuff was in there, so I don't know if it's
Nice.
still in there, if it's been updated, but it's pretty hilarious. So anyway, yes, please come visit us live. We will have prizes. We are very, as you know, we're very interactive, so we're gonna have a lot going on. It's gonna be a great panel. I encourage anybody who's going to Dragon Con to come check us out and wear your GI Joe costumes. Okay, let's check in with the chat. Thor Golden Cub, hi guys. Christmas Ape, yo, show. Rachel Salinas, good evening, gents. Yorktown Joe, happy Monday. Rich Murphy, what is up?
Ritz.
Yeah, Thor Golden Cub, 2 weeks to Dragon Con. Who's not ready? I'm mostly ready. Are you guys kinda? Yeah.
I'm taking it super easy this year. Like I haven't decided any costumes or anything. May or may not
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, I may bring like one.
Wow. Okay. So I've like,
Whoa,
Christmas Ape.
Ape.
Christmas Ape.
It's
You
Christmas
are
in
incredible.
August.
StreamYard contribution to the best GI Joe podcast. I just wish last week's podcast was a live one. Would have loved to have seen your faces after Kristian's Freudian slip with blowtorch. Look, everybody knows we're a family-friendly show. We debated. It had to be left in. Because nothing was apparently. It was fine. It was fine. Nothing wrong was said.
Snow Torch is coming next week, so that's
yeah, right.
It's a complete
little
crossover.
Christmas Ape mentioned this is a StreamYard contribution. For those who don't know, we are everything that we're getting from the super chat or right now from t-shirt sales or anything like that. Every bit of income that we get is going towards a StreamYard subscription so that we can improve the quality of this show and improve the interactivity of the chat. If you guys probably watch some live streams, when you're using StreamYard, you've just got a better product. So we are actually probably pretty close. I would guess our next live stream on August the 28th, we will probably do a little bit of a telethon kind of thing and really keep a tally, because I think we'll probably, with a little work, I think we can probably bring it home on the next live stream. So that's pretty exciting. I'm very excited about that. Thank you, Christmas Ape, and everybody who has contributed.
Yes.
Okay. Let me bring my notes back up. Just got out of control there for a minute. So yeah, Dragon Con Friday, 1 p.m. Check us out. And that panel, the audio version of that panel, will be available the following Friday. So I think I'm the only one who has an eel. Did you guys get your eels?
No,
Not yet.
I finally got a shipping notification on them. They were supposed to arrive on the 8th, and then on the 8th, I got a notification telling me, "Oh, there's been a delay," and I actually had to go in and agree to continue to have them be shipped to me. And I've got them in 2 shipments, so I had to agree to it twice. But mine are apparently going to be here tomorrow or Wednesday now.
So
I haven't even got a shipping notice yet.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, some people got it delayed to like September.
But remember, I got my shipping notice for Scrap Iron 2 weeks after I got him, and
right.
Shipwreck and Rock and Roll like a week and a half after I got them. So I plan on being pleasantly surprised in the mail one day.
Ooh, did I order?
I did get this today. The classics,
That's
the
pretty
retro,
amazing, actually.
Yeah. Which what I was pretty amazed at. I ordered 2 of them, and they came in the actual original box. So didn't have, like, the last time I ordered these retro packaging figures from Walmart, where they were just in a
bag,
like an envelope.
Thor Golden Cub in the super chat.
Super chat.
Hi guys, just got Scrap Iron and Shipwreck. They're amazing. Can't wait to see you all at Dragon Con. I made you a wired cape for Cobra Commander, Kristian. Oh, nice.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, sorry, Noel. The super chat always takes precedence.
That's all right. I was pretty much done.
So nice. You got them in an actual box. Well, I, as I mentioned, I think a few weeks ago, I canceled my order for the Retro Crimson Guards because even though I would have liked to review one just for comparison's sake, I'm already at a point where I'm not buying everything, and I just don't need reds that don't match. And I also just remembered, so the eel was up on Pulse, right?
Yeah, 'cause that's where I got mine.
I probably need to go cancel a Pulse pre-order because I don't want more than one of this figure. Watch my review to find out why.
I still have 4 on the way, and I considered canceling a couple of them after seeing early reviews.
I hope you love them. I hope they make you very happy. I hope they make everybody very happy. Okay, so time for another little screen share. I don't know if you guys saw this one or not, because we've all been super busy the past week or so. Oh, what just happened? Hang on. Let's try that again. There we go. So I mentioned the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast was producing a Sergeant Slaughter Major Bendy, and I speculated that since they had signed Slaughter, we might see a Big Rubber Guys Sergeant Slaughter. And sure enough, just a week later, they announced and put up for pre-order the Big Rubber Guys Sergeant Slaughter. Now, I will say this. I am actually a little disappointed in this because I was hoping the deco would be like the Hasbro style one that came out. And he's this which did Slaughter ever, is this all black?
It looks all black.
Slaughter,
I mean, it is, but
yeah, like his G.I. Joe persona costumes were always a little bit more little
colorful,
flashier than what he typically wore in the ring, because he usually just wore like all black with the belt.
Okay, so if he had an LJ, well, and this is based off Matt Cardona has a drawing of the LJN prototype, but it's one of those things where you look at the drawing and you can't really tell what kind of detail is supposed to be in the gear. So that's a good point. This probably, if he had gotten that LJN, this is what he would have looked like.
Yeah.
Which is what they're trying to achieve with these Big Rubber Guys. They want it to they spent tons of time developing the feel, the size, the heft, everything about them. These are, from everybody that's put hands on them, are LJNs for all intents and purposes. So anyway, I just wanted to point out that they are indeed producing a Sergeant Slaughter Big Rubber Guy. And even though it's not exactly what I wanted, I'm probably going to end up getting it just because I love Sarge. But I sold off all my LJNs a while ago. They had no nostalgia for me.
I still have a bunch of them, but they just sit in a bin underneath my table over here. They're actually like right within reach of me, but
there's just not, what can you do with them?
They don't display well, and I mean, none of them are in good condition. All the paint like just flaked off of them years ago.
You can reenact scenes from the hit cartoon Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling.
Which is funny because in my head, like until 10 or 15 years ago or whatever, I don't know, because Hasbro WWF figures were not really in my consciousness that much, because by the time they were in stores, I wasn't watching wrestling at that time. But in my head for years, those were the ones that matched up with the Rockin' Wrestling because they looked sort of cartoony. They had the exaggerated proportions and stuff, but they were years after Rockin' Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we don't have a ton of news, and I was going to leave it up to you guys and to the chat if the chat wants to throw anything in there. JJ Shoulder Height. I realize that's not at all how your name is pronounced. Very much looking forward to the live episode at Dragon Con. We will see you there. If you have a costume, wear it. If you have input, bring it, because we will have prizes, including an all-new run of Force Brigade figures. All right. Yorktown Joe, same. Pulse said Retro CG and Snake Eyes shipping soon. Kevin Riddle got my notification. My retros are shipping soon. So who knows? Yeah, we you don't know till they're there. You. But anyway, I want to leave this up to you guys and to the chat. Do we want to talk just a little bit about this missing link Optimus Prime?
I would love to.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Let me share the screen because
Well, it's
this.
definitely GI Joe adjacent now, as
Well, right,
a
yeah.
bit of news later will confirm.
This blew my mind because when I first saw it, I thought it was just another reissue. But you guys can probably talk more about this than I really can. What is this?
So this is essentially scaled to the original G1 Optimus Prime. It has almost an identical transformation, obviously with some changes, but it is as posable as a modern figure is, but still maintaining the look of the original figure. And it's made with die cast. The chest is die cast. It has, pretty much all the original accessories. Obviously, the axe, the energy axe, and the matrix that they throw in these later Optimus releases. What's interesting is that when Takara first teased these about a week before this went live on Hasbro Pulse, there's a Megatron too. And
Whoa, we're not going to get that, are we?
We're not going to get that here, but I will probably pay a decent amount to import one of those.
So it's confirmed that it's G1 size, because the stuff that I had seen when they had teased before, people doing translations were saying it was masterpiece sized, and I was like, that doesn't fit with my collection.
I mean, for the price, I feel like it has to be G1 sized because it's $70 for just Optimus. Yeah, and I think it was $119 for the one with the trailer, maybe.
Yeah, this is G1 scaled. The trailer itself is essentially just the one that's been re-released with other recent re-releases.
Yeah, I mean that's what it looks like. But so when once I got into this and went past just the initial picture, I realized this is essentially Masters of the Universe Origins, like the Transformers version of that. Which is terrifying to me because I'm so into that and I can't be into anything else.
This right here, and I pre-ordered this. I pre-ordered the one without the trailer because
really,
you
figure you've got enough trailers.
Well, the trailer isn't anything different than the original, really, and so it's not really that big of a selling point. But also the deco on the stand-alone one is more like animation accurate.
Oh,
the one that's with the trailer is more toy accurate. So
I didn't even notice that there was a difference.
Yeah, so I figured I'll get the because I have a regular Optimus, and I you know what, if you look behind me, this is a whole cabinet, actually two Detolfs full of Optimus Primes. He is a character that I collect, not all of, because I just can't. There's too many Optimuses out there.
Well, that room would be full of Optimus.
Yeah, but I do collect a lot of different Optimuses, so I may wind up getting two at the end of the day. Who knows? What this really does to me is makes me wonder, like, how much they can do with this. Like,
how deep will they go?
Like, how many other figures will they be able to do in this style? Because you look at some of those other G1 figures, they have very little posability for the most part. But some of them, like Soundwave, would be really easy to adapt into this.
Yeah,
because he's already got some articulation. He's larger, but I mean, some of the smaller ones, like the G1, like cars and things like that, those would be really interesting to see how many of those they can fix.
I think where we're at with toys, they could do anything. I was in the store the other day. There's a new line of Disney figures called like Storytelling or something along those lines. And they had Aladdin and the Genie, Timon, Pumbaa, and what's the lion's name?
Simba.
Yes, thank you. Lord. And then one other set. I don't remember what the other one was. Lilo and Stitch. But there was an Aladdin like that big, but he had articulated elbows and shoulders. Like, it was crazy. I think they could do the cars. I definitely, like, if they do a Hound, I'll be very, very tempted to grab a Hound.
And there's a lot of those figures too that the molds are lost forever.
Right.
Some of them, they've reissued a lot. Like, we've gotten a few Hounds, we've gotten a few others that have been reissued a couple times. But I'm interested to see some of the ones that I think Mirage is one that's been law. They've never done a re-release of Mirage.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
and
note
he's
to our
one of the
listeners.
brittlest figures.
Yeah, because you'll see on eBay where they say it's a reissue Mirage, those are all bootlegs.
Mhm.
Oh wow. So this is an opportunity for Hasbro to kind of do what they were doing with O-rings and just scan the old stuff and but tool up some new joints and whatnot. Interesting. This is, definitely not GI Joe talk, but it's something that I felt like our listeners and certainly we had an interest in. So I wanted to bring it up.
G.I. Joe adjacent.
Yes. Red Laser reviews. I've started collect Super 7 Ultimates. I love the cartoon as a kid, so the cartoon accurate designs are right up my alley. 100%. Rachel Salinas, when they release a crossover Optimus, what Joe or Joes will come with Optimus? So we've okay. First of all, let's establish something. I think all three of us would agree with this. If we had our preference, a crossover Optimus would just be Optimus. I would rather just have a 3 3/4 inch, a 1/18 scale Optimus Prime. I'll buy if they do them as the APC or any of the things that we've discussed. I'll buy that. But give me just an Optimus that interacts with Joe's. I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see what they would choose for a vehicle, a Joe vehicle.
Yeah.
But they're gonna put like Duke with him.
But if whoever's the head of this calls you up, Noel, and says, "Look, we just can't decide. You make the decision. Do we just do a big Optimus?" What are you gonna say?
Why not both? I don't think they do Duke because they've already released an O-ring Duke.
I'm thinking Hawk.
Okay, that wouldn't be that bad.
Or Scarlet and Snake Eyes.
Yeah, they haven't done a Scarlet.
Oh, they haven't done it. Yeah.
And they haven't done a Snake Eyes.
They did the 2-pack.
They did the 2-pack, but they could do a version 2 Snake Eyes.
Right.
And Snake Eyes is Snake Eyes. Getting him in a set like that. Although Stalker is the one that kind of throws me for a loop because we love Stalker, but as far as mass recognition, he kind of throws a wrench in our hole. It needs to be one of the bigger characters. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think anything could go. Maybe it's Optimus Prime and Toll Booth. I don't know.
I mean, if you were doing like if it's going to be a Mobat or something like that, I don't think they do Steeler, but you could do a character you could do a Cover Girl, even a character that's more associated with a tank.
Yeah. But if I had my choice, if they just let me pick, if we got that phone call, I'd say just do Optimus as the truck and have him come with Hawk in his general uniform and Grunt in his dress uniform from whatever issue that comic is. I don't know off the top of my head. Because why not? It'd be fun.
I know that I'll probably, if they do an Optimus, I may have to get 2 of them, one for my Optimus shelf and one to hang out with my other crossovers.
Yes.
That's the only thing that I'm dreading about them, this potential announcement at some point.
I mean, it's got to happen. I feel like Optimus is on the way. Okay. So moving along, we've got another screen share, another G.I. Joe adjacent thing that I am super stoked about this line. I currently have everything on pre-order. It was announced that the Operation Monster Force figures from Fresh Monkey Fiction with weapons designed by Gridiron, by the way. Very interesting update. But the whole first wave of Operation Monster Force has been delayed to first quarter of next year, which is fine. They were originally coming out at the end of this year. Guess what? There's enough stuff coming out at the end of this year.
Yeah, there's no shortage on stuff that's coming out right now.
Well, and I honestly kind of wonder if they need more time for production or if they just decided, hey, Hasbro is releasing a year's worth of stuff in November. Let's not compete with that. I mean, I think either thing is possible, but right around the same time they pushed all of those releases back, maybe the same day, they announced it's season 2, not series 2, 2 season 2 figures. The Donner Party, which is just a bonkers Frankenstein figure with a great looking soft goods cloak. You can actually see that it's wired in the front, very, very Mezco-esque. And then
He reminds me of like Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, he's got and you know, he's probably more zombie than Frankenstein, I guess.
Red Laser Reviews super chat. Thank you.
Whoa, awesome.
Gotta run,
but
go
ahead, Kristian.
Sorry. Gotta run, but wanted to drop a StreamYards donation and say thank you guys. Love the show and the reviews.
Thank you so much, Red Laser. Red Laser rules. So yeah, the Donner Party looks just awesome. I mean, I pre-ordered instantly, and then we also got, and this is one of the things I enjoy about this line, is initially all you see is just the base figure, like sort of the neutral look in packaging. And then you click to the next icon or next image and you get this with all of the accessories, the alternate portraits, the jetpacks, this is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very like atomic punk almost kind of look to it.
Yeah, I love.
I say I don't need 2 of anything, but man, both heads on that figure are so good.
I know. Well, but that's how all of their troop builders have been.
Yeah,
they have
great. I've been able to say no, but this is the first one that.
It's that helmeted head.
Pulling the trigger on a second one.
Well, and if you notice, the helmeted head looks incredible, right?
Yeah.
But look at the front. Look at those ports. That's where those hoses plug in.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's beautiful. I love it. So yeah, this is now I don't know exactly why he has his mask plugged into his jetpack, but that's fine. I don't care because it looks awesome. So yeah, I'm way into these. I've got every single one of them pre-ordered, and they will all be reviewed on the Needless Things YouTube channel as soon as possible. All right. Notes. Who's got the notes? Do we want to talk? We'll throw it up here and just take a look at it real quick. I'm honestly not super interested in this. Kristian, you are our resident 1/18th scale modern look guy. How do you feel about this one?
I actually really like him, even though he's using the Operation Blackout web gear. For some weird reason, with the 1/18th scale, it doesn't, like, his top part looks really bulky, but the bottom half doesn't. So again, when I start seeing some reviews on the, what was it? The Snake Eyes was the first one. When I start seeing some reviews on those, I'm going to start pulling the trigger. But I did order the Beachhead.
This one,
I like it.
My initial response to this one was, why does this look better than the classified version to me? So I got the classified version down, and honestly, now that I know we're getting a Firefly that is more what I want it to look like. I mean, I never said this was a bad figure. It just wasn't really what I needed out of a Firefly figure. That the vest is so bulky.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, it just looks better on that smaller scale. I don't know why. I mean, the figure is nearly identical.
Yeah. And I don't like that first classified Firefly at all.
I think it's a cool design and I dig it, but not as Firefly.
He just looks like truly a saboteur.
Well, and he also, upgrade-wise, he's also got alternate hands, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that's, I don't know if these are ever going to be available in America, aside from importing. but there they are.
Yeah,
Exquisite toys. Exquisite mini, sorry.
If you've been jonesing for some, 3 3/4/4 inch figures that are not O-ring style, well, you got somebody who's still offering them to you.
That's right. You just got to figure out how to get to them.
That's right.
All right, we got a couple of things here I think we can stand to skip over, especially the look, I'll say it, the bootleg Baroness. I was kind of embarrassed just looking at it. If you want to check out his tank, go for it. I don't think we need to devote too much time to it.
Yeah, I just want to add, because I had not heard of that company, and I've done a lot of third-party stuff with Transformers, and I've always, therefore, a while, the quality of the third-party stuff was actually better. The plastic quality was better than what Hasbro was giving us. But when I started looking at GD Toys' other products they put out, the plastic looks really cheap for that expensive of a figure.
Okay.
All their promotional pictures look really great, but then when you like look at the reviews that are on YouTube, it looks like you're not getting a Hot Toys, but you're paying Hot Toys prices.
Ew. Yeah. Not interested. All right. So I think do you guys, we've got a couple more pieces of news on here, but honestly, I don't think there's much meat on the bone. I'd rather get to sound off if that's all right with you guys.
Well, real quickly, there's a few points that were on that second quarter earnings call that do relate to Joe, which kind of made me happy because this is the first time since we've started this podcast where any of their earning calls have mentioned G.I. Joe. But they didn't mention classified, but there's some news in here that I think will. So as we know, Hasbro put the production company that they bought, E1, up for sale. Lionsgate has purchased it, and it looks like that deal will completely go through by the end of this year, beginning of next year. How that affects us is Hasbro on this call said it does not change the development of films that are currently in the works, like Transformers and G.I. Joe. So now we officially have it from Hasbro. Who knows when it will come out, but they have said there is actively a G.I. Joe movie in development right now. So unless whoever transcribed it didn't italicize the and it's actually Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Right.
But the part that I think we as collectors and need to watch out for, and it sort of ties into one of the sound offs, Hasbro did not, they made a loss on what they expected the business to do for the second quarter. However, they were only off by like $10 million. So they expected to have a loss of, let's say, 50 million. It was only 10. And they were like, we got there by working with our retailers to limit inventory. And that is a big push that they're going to do for the third and fourth quarter. They said
I feel like they have to, though.
Yeah, they said they're already talking to their major e-retailers and big box stores to figure out the holiday season. So, you know, as we get excited that we're walking into Target and we're actually seeing classified figures on the shelf, something to keep in mind is the classified series is doing good. It's not hurting, but we're still a niche product within Hasbro. Right. So even though it's flying off the shelves, it's not pulling in Transformers money. So if they start scaling the inventory of classifieds back, then I don't think we'll ever go back to the pre-order panic. but if you see a figure on the shelf, you better buy it because you're probably not going to see it again. And the higher price stuff, we may not see.
Right. That may be strictly e-commerce stuff.
Yeah. So they said they want to lower the retail inventory by another 16%. And the last part that stuck out to me was, let me pull up my notes here because this one was so specific. Okay, so one of the folks on the call asked about Hasbro Pulse because Hasbro Pulse, they see from the earnings was doing like $100-200 million worth of business, and they were not as open to give a lot of details about Hasbro Pulse, but they did say that what the trend that they have seen with Pulse is that is where they are selling the bulk of Star Wars figures, Marvel Legends, and G.I. Joe.
Huh.
So again, we may start to see less and less of these figures in the big box stores, and they become, e-retailer. But as long as they're still making them and we're buying them, we're good.
I mean, look, I get 90%. You know what? I may get 100% of classified online now. I don't know that I've gotten.
I get excited to walk into like a Walmart or Target and see a figure that I haven't seen at retail before.
Sure.
But 99% of the time I've already got it, or it's one that I wasn't planning on buying anyway.
Yeah, it's
I'm sort of like an impulse buyer when I go in. So even though I don't like the Tiger Force deco, the fact that I've been into my Target by my house twice now and seen Tiger Force Dusty on the pegs, the urge to buy him has been so strong. However, the new wave of Masterverse figures have also been on the shelf. So I'm like, okay, I'll get this because I like Clawful more than I do Tiger Force Dusty. But if those had not been on the shelf, I absolutely would have grabbed another Dusty. So I like, and if I see an army builder, the urge to buy it is incredibly strong when I see it on the shelf.
Yeah. I have yet to see. I've seen Dusty in pretty much every Target in the area. I have yet to see. No, I take it back. Early on, I saw a Crimson or a Python Crimson Guard, but I just saw the one.
I've seen all of them.
I've seen Bazooka. I've seen Ricondo.
At my Target, the Python Crimson Guard stayed on the shelf longer than, because I'm talking about like the first time I saw them, because it was like the whole wave.
Right.
And the next time I went in the following week, everybody was gone, and there was one Crimson Guard left, and then he sold, and then that week after that, 3 Tiger Force Dusties were back on a peg. So I figure that must be the one that comes the most in the case, or
interesting.
Everybody's just buying the others.
Just buying the troop builders. It's entirely possible. All right. Well, we got to move on now. It is time to sound off. This is a segment where we take input from Audible Interlude podcast on Instagram every day before we do a live stream. We open up the floor to our listeners and Instagram followers to suggest what we're going to talk about. The past few times I've done a screen share where I've showed the prompt, And I'm not going to do that now because it messed up our nice audio video clip last time. So I'm just going to read them off the page here. And we are going to start with our pal Rich from Nerdy Laser. What number do you think the classified line will end at? You know what? I don't think we can even really speculate on that because Hasbro is not going to say we're doing 350 of these and that's the end. Like the number is going to have so little relevance as far as when the line ends. You know, I think we'll get 200 more figures. Yeah, if 2023, if we continue at that pace, absolutely. I would say.
Are we at 100 yet?
With the Hiss tank, we'll be at 100.
Okay.
One of the Hiss tank figures is
so that's
100.
3 years, and the first year and a half of that, the production was a lot slower than it is now.
Right. It was a slow drip.
Yeah. And
I think at this point, the line is going to last at least through 2025.
Well, if people still buy them, that's what's going to keep driving them to continue making more. And from all the names that Lenny's thrown out there, he definitely wants to get, all the figures that were produced, from 82 to 94. I'm sure he wants to get the majority of them in there at some point.
I bet they're all in his head. I'll just for the sake of answering the question, I'll say I think we get to 400 because if you include the repaints that they're so fond of, that really fills things out as well. So I'll just say 400.
And we don't even count like the retro figures in the numbers.
Right, they're not numbered. Yeah.
So if you count those, there's another like 8 figures that have been released.
And we're going to get at least another 15 Lady J's.
That's true. That's true.
So they're all sitting on the shelf.
Tiger
at the same
Force,
time,
Night
sadly.
Force,
Eco Warrior,
Pajama-rama.
Drug Enforcer.
Yeah. You've got to work her into
Night
everything.
Lady J.
Yeah, I would buy a Night Force Lady J.
All right. Podcast from the Pit. Everybody go check out Podcast from the Pit. Excellent show. Good friends of our show. Would you like to see classified versions of Renegades, Resolute, and some of the comic book characters? I think we've talked about this a little bit in the past.
I don't know if we've really touched on Renegades and Resolute. I know we've talked about doing comic book characters like a Dr. Venom I would buy in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's been on our wish list probably since the show started.
If they did a classified version of Resolute, Cobra Commander, and Destro, I'd buy them.
Absolutely. Honestly, if they did classified, like if they did it as a sub team kind of thing, where I could almost look at it as its own mini collection, I would be very into like a Renegades subline with everyone.
When it comes to Renegades, would you guys want them to fit aesthetically? Like these are the Renegades, but we're keeping the same look, but we're making them look more realistic, like the classified figures.
That's what I would
want them to look cartoony.
No, I would
like. Would you do like? Would you have the roadblock be as big as the roadblock from Renegades?
Yeah,
and then have a tiny little tunnel rat to go next to him.
Yeah. But they would have. Well, okay. I don't know that I would want him to be bigger than the existing roadblock figures. Like I would just want him in that roadblock's look,
but wider, because that roadblock he's a beefy boy.
Yeah, once they get around to Road Pig, use that Road Pig buck for Renegade's roadblock. I'm into that. Resolute, like Kristian said, if they want to do Resolute, Cobra Commander, and Destro, well, the Resolute designs were good.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Resolute Duke is the one I've got on display with my modern stuff.
The Renegade designs there's nothing really special about those to me. Like I prefer the story of Renegades, but the character designs were just kind of there. Resolute, I thought the character designs were really good. I just wasn't a fan of the story. So it's kind of.
Well, And Renegades, like, I actually was not a fan of those designs initially, but on my recent rewatch that I did, because I think it was you guys both insisted, no, this is good, you need to watch it, and you were right. Now I love those designs because they're part of that unique representation of G.I. Joe. So now those designs are kind of something special to me because that show was so good. All right. Silent Interlude 1. How excited are you about 3D Joe's upcoming compendium of Joe art? I mean, we've been talking about it since the Kickstarter began. We could not be more excited. We're thrilled that it is now a licensed Hasbro product. I can't wait to get my hands on it. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah,
I hope we get.
Just hearing Carson talk about it and how much of a labor of love this is for him. I mean, he's gone above and beyond. I can't believe the value that this thing is going to be.
He is hugely over delivering on the original promise. It's incredible. And I hope that this leads to more great supplemental G.I. Joe material, because if you're a Masters of the Universe fan, you know that Dark Horse has produced numerous volumes of Masters of the Universe material, and there's just as much room for G.I. Joe to be explored in a consumer friendly price point. I'll just say that. 2, will Super 7 crowdfund the giant Cobra aircraft, the mothership, or do you think people will just start finding it in Target? People are not going to just start finding it in Target. It is going to be absolutely, if Super 7 decides to execute it, it will 100% be a crowdfund. I think it's going to be less expensive than people expect, but still very expensive. And I think it's going to be execution-wise, I think it will exceed everybody's expectations. Those are just my uninformed guesses from my history of being a Super 7 collector.
I would say that what we saw in the display, while it was very cool to see that design, it's all like one color. There wasn't anything that really like screamed about it, but I would guarantee if they're going to actually put that out, it's going to be a lot more striking to the eye than what we already saw.
And well, I mean, we didn't even see an interior on what they showed, and it will 100% have an interior. So, also thanks for all the effort you put into adding to our toy fan experience. Hey, thank you guys for, we've all been collectors our entire lives, but being able to share with you guys, everybody in the chat here, which by the way, I need to check back in with the chat, but you guys enrich our toy collecting lives as well, and we truly appreciate that. All right, let's see. Let me zip the chat back up here a little bit. Mandalorian Jedi I had to check out, but thank you for stopping by. Christmas Ape, I have no luck in my 3 Target stores in the area. Ritz Murphy, I feel the same way, Kristian. When I see it, I want to buy it. And that's a really good point. That's an important factor, because, well, Kristian, like you said, with troop builders, like I may order 1 or 2 online, but then if I see more in the store, they're just right there in front of my face, and I'm like, do I need more bats? Yes.
I keep walking into Targets and finding the reaction figures on clearance, and I keep buying them. I don't need them, but I keep buying them because when they're like $8 or $9 instead of 20,
right?
I can't not have it.
And it's funny that what you just said. Everybody make a note of what Noel just said. $8 or $9 versus 20. You kind of feel like you have to buy it. This plays into my Joe and Tell. Rachel Salinas, Dr. Venom, and Big Lob would be on my list. Would love Renegade Scrap Iron. Yes, all of that. Resolute Destro would be incredible. Yorktown Joe, I assembled a Dr. Venom in the classified scale with a Marvel Legends egghead and a custom head from eBay. I've seen that, and I kind of want to do it, but I also kind of don't want to go down that road, because once you start kit bashing, where does it end? But that's a great.
Get ready for the next Joe and Tell.
So here
Mm.
is. This is the head I have put aside for Dr. Venom once I find an egghead for a reasonable price. It's a Norman Osborn head. It's not quite right because it doesn't have the little spit curl, but I can't think of a Marvel Legends figure that has that. Okay. Ritz Renegades is my modern love. Renegades it's just great. If you, like me back when it came on, if you were like, what is this? This doesn't look like G.I. Joe, and foolishly dismissed it, go back and watch it again. It's great.
It feels like G.I. Joe, and that was what was important.
Yes. Christmas Ape, can't wait for that Joe art book. Thor Golden Cup, this is an amazing place for collectors. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Hey, Rich is here. What's up, Rich? Night of the Nerdy Laser. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? Wreck Ship 85, a new regular with the sound offs. We appreciate it. Using only existing classified characters, come up with a convention exclusive version of that figure. My personal choice, Master Chef Roadblock with kitchen equipment. I'd buy it. I'd buy that in a second. I'm just going to jump on this one because I've said it before. And I truly, really, really badly want it. I want to listen in fun tripwire. I want him to come with a flash drive with the story on it, come with the little book, whatever. But I just want him to paint that thing that garish orange so I can buy it. That is my pick.
Would it come with a cassette?
I don't think it would have I don't know. They make new cassettes now. They just put out the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 soundtrack on cassette. So, I mean, it could come with a cassette, but if they just wanted to do like a flash drive, that'd be fine.
Come with a cassette and then an MP3 download.
Yeah.
I think that he should come with a classified size.
Like they did with Sergeant Slaughter.
As an accessory,
No, he should come with a listen and fun tripwire. Like the Sergeant Slaughter. That would be amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that. Anything jump out at you guys?
So when I saw this one, I know we've mentioned it before, but I really want Cold Slither.
Yeah.
Be a pricey box set, but
yeah. Well, I was thinking along those lines. We've been talking about Zartan and getting a chameleon with him. That would be a good reason to put that out as a convention exclusive.
All right, Yorktown Joe. With classified products becoming available at retail, will the manic pre-order paranoia eventually fade? And Kristian kind of addressed this earlier. Honestly, I think to an extent it has already. Now, there's still that element of FOMO, and I think a lot of us that do Joe podcasts and hang out in Joe live streams, it's never going to totally fade just because we love Joe. We get that FOMO and we know we want to get these figures as fast as we can. And I think that's something that's maybe a little more special to Joe than it is to Marvel Legends or Star Wars. Because like Star Wars has consistently been around forever on the toy aisles. Marvel Legends is this gargantuan line that's never going to end. But Joe, we're still in this magic period where it's so special to be getting these great G.I. Joe toys that really in general are living up to everything we could have ever wanted. Talk to any Marvel Legends or Star Wars Black Series collector and they're disappointed with like more than half of the stuff that comes out. But talk to Joe fans and look, we can complain, but overall, I think Joe fans adore this product and we want it ASAP. So I think the pre-orders, I don't think it's paranoia as much as it is enthusiasm now. Like, yeah, give me this product. I want it.
But I do think that, not that we got comfortable, but after the whole Mindbender Serpentor thing, we knew that they were increasing the numbers and we were seeing pre-orders stay on websites, 24 hours, 48 hours. But then this most recent one, the eel sells out
Right.
before 24
right.
hours are up. The snow serpent sells out before 24 hours is
But
up.
those are those hugely desired Cobra troop builders that
Right.
people have been begging for since the line started.
And
Yeah,
who knows,
but
we may get another run of them.
Oh, I'm
because-
sure we will.
I
Because
absolutely believe we do. When those sort of moments happen, that absolutely, at least with me, causes the
Right.
thank God I got
Glad
my
I got
pre-order
that.
in. So the
Yeah,
next time, I have to make sure I've got my phone ready as soon as I get that text from Pulse. I
Yeah.
can't even wait.
we
10
even saw,
minutes.
I mean, how long was Chuckles up? Almost 24 hours.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, he was up for like 3 days.
Was he up for that
yeah,
long?
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, he was up the whole weekend.
I mean, we obviously, the three of us had some FOMO. We made sure
Right.
to spend a little
Yeah.
extra to
Yep.
get him while the
Yeah,
convention
yeah.
was still going on. But I don't regret that because,
No.
you know,
no.
that was one where we knew we would possibly be taking a risk.
And we got to spend the rest of the week not thinking about it, not worrying about when it was going to go up for pre-order, not worrying about the quantities. It was totally worth it. And if that had been, which granted, if they had released a Cobra Troop Builder as a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, people would have lost their minds. But if that had been some kind of Cobra Troop Builder, he would not have lasted all weekend.
Right.
All right, let's see. Mandalorian Jedi. Oh, sorry, we didn't get to it, but I know they'll listen Friday, so that's fine. Since we all know that GI Joe is the world's most elite fighting force, but sometimes these warriors need a little help from their animal friends to assure mission success. Which Joes would you choose to adopt a new animal companion, and what animal would it be? Well, I went first on the last one. Do either of you have an answer for this one?
I do.
Okay.
So my pick was Sneak Peek needs a meerkat.
Wow. Right out of
Wow.
the gate, nobody's going to top that. That's tremendous. Okay. I like it. Noel,
Honestly,
have you got anything?
This one did not come through when I looked at these before, so I'm seeing it for the first time.
Okay.
But my initial thought, Big Ben could come with a British Bulldog.
Oh man, that's great. Oh gosh, I can't remember any of the British Bulldogs names.
Matilda,
thank you.
because
You
you
need a
remember the
Matilda.
Islanders kidnapped her. It was tragic.
Okay. I am going to say Outback adopts a tapir.
Oh.
And you may not be aware of this, but the tapir has the ability to urinate up to 50 feet away. So that would be a heck of an offensive mechanism for his animal pet to have. Matter of fact, you could even make the toy a little squirty, a little squeezy toy.
Now I have something to share with people when I go to Animal Kingdom and we look at the tapir.
That might be where I learned that fact, actually. I think it might be on the plaque on their pen. So yeah, there we go. Some good animal companions we need to make happen. And finally, wrapping things up, bassist Carlos, would you enjoy a movie line of classified figures? For example, Bruce Willis, Dwayne Johnson, Brendan Fraser, Channing Tatum, Joseph Gordon-Levitt figures. So I thought we had already discussed this. I was wrong. This is a conversation I got into on His Tank, which we love His Tank for conversation, for input, for thoughts, for inspiration. But this question was asked in His Tank, and I said, absolutely. I would love to have a classified version of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Cobra Commander with the clear mask. Give me a Rex figure. You know what? Maybe we have talked about this because I think I remember saying it should come with the acrylic case with the Cobra inside that the Neo Viper sticks their hand in. But yeah, I would be so on board with this because I don't hate those movies like a lot of people do. I like Rise of Cobra a lot more than I like Retaliation.
Well, I really would love a Jinx figure, and I think I've discussed having a Jinx figure in the yellow costume that she wears.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The Bruce Lee
also
tribute, basically.
the Ray Stevenson Firefly. I'd love to have a figure based on that too in the classified scale.
In the class, yeah. Yeah, because I mean we got both of those in modern. We even have RZA as Blind Master. I've got that figure, but I would love to have it in classified. Even though it's one of the worst
Oscar-worthy performance.
Yeah, one of the worst performances ever captured on film. But I love RZA. Wu-Tang is for the children.
I'm the odd man out.
That's
not
a hard
that I
no.
hate the movies. Other than that Jinx, they're not designs that I care for. Like I never got any of the 3 3/4 movie ones. I mean, if they did a classified version of that mech suit from the first movie,
that could be very cool.
I'd buy that. But
Come on, what about you don't want a Brendan Fraser as Sergeant Stone? I would love to have a 1/12 scale Brendan Fraser.
Do a head pack then.
Do like they did with the Avengers, where they did the time travel suits, but they all just had different heads, like the body was all the same.
There you go. Because they all pretty much wore the same thing. Pulse
exclusive G.I. Joe movie camo body comes with a Zartan head. Well, you can't do because his character wasn't, but you could do a few heads and you just buy multiples of that body and stick the heads on them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great. I would love that because I like that G.I. Joe camo design a lot as well. Our pal Oz actually designed our AI pod camo based on that you can see in some of our materials. All right, that is the end of Sound Off. Our next segment is Joe and Tell. The title of that segment supplied by our partner in design, Slickalicious. Do you guys have a Joe and Tell?
I do.
I know you do. I know I do. Kristian, have you got something?
I do. It's not in the room, but
okay,
it'll be more of a tell.
Okay. Who wants to start?
I can start. Mine's so this past weekend, there was a little event here in Atlanta called Joelanta, which was a convention that existed and then became Toylanta and then split back out of Toylanta. So now we have two different conventions that take place at the same place at like 6 months apart from one another. A little smaller because it's more Joe centric, obviously, and a lot of focus on the 12-inch Joes. So you get a lot of people who are doing costumes for their 12-inch Joe figures, but there's a lot of like 3 3/4 and 6-inch Joe stuff there as well. And when I first was there setting up as for our finest table, one of my friends who was also a vendor there came by and he said, "Do you need any of the new classified figures? There's a guy who's selling them all for $20 a piece." And this was on Friday night when they were doing the preview stuff. And I was like, I've got pretty much everything I want. But maybe I'll go take a look. He goes, he's got eels. I was like, well, I got some on the way, so we'll see. So I wandered over to his table, and the first thing that I saw was he had another CG.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, I'll spend $20 on a CG because you can never have too many of your favorite troop builders, right? Then I looked down and I said, "That's a Cobra Island trooper, right?" And I was like, "Is that 20?" He goes, "Yeah, anything on the table here is 20." I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I'll take that. He had scrap irons for 30, by the way. I was tempted to buy a second one for that price.
Sure.
And then
I probably would have just to have an unhelmeted head on display.
Pushed away a couple other guys, and this was staring at me.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Was that 20?
This was 25.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I was like...
Snake Supreme with no sour cream.
Right, and the guy next to him was selling the same figure for $125. So I was like, yeah, I'll do this. So yeah, this is a figure that like wasn't even one that I really wanted initially because I mean I want a more retro style Cobra Commander.
Yeah.
That's really what I want. It's a very cool figure. The packaging is amazing, but
Yes.
I wasn't going to pay what the retail was or what the markup on it is now for sure. But I'll pay $25 for a classified figure because and no tax.
Right.
So yeah. That was pretty much the extent of my pickup. I picked up a loose Worms and a loose Techno Viper, and this shirt that I'm wearing right now that I got for the amazing price of $0, also from my friend Brian. So
well done. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
So I also and by the way, you guys have just been setting this up the whole episode, and I appreciate that. I also went to Joe Lanta. I made one purchase. This is an item that I've had my eye on online for a while. I was actively collecting when it originally came out, but it was one of those things where I was like, $40? I can't spend $40 on that. So I waited 20 years and I spent $100 on the Operation Crimson Sabotage set.
Nice.
Nice.
This is a Valor versus Venom set, and it is it was mint in box. I did an unboxing that'll go up on the Needless Things YouTube channel on Thursday, I believe. It's definitely this week though. But it's the Noel. When you see these in person, you are going to freak. Because
I can see right now how beautiful it is.
They're just mud. The treads look like it just rolled through like a yard with 800 dogs in it. There's even a dark wash on the tank itself that looks like weathering. It came with 3 O-ring Crimson Guards with removable helmets that are not insanely oversized. But just the paint that's on this, that black, the deco, this is one instance where I have to say I'm not super upset by like filth and dirt being on there. I love this red canopy, looks so good. And then
the red guards over the treads too are really nice.
Beautiful. And then the red or the crimson asp as well.
The breakup of the colors for the asp with the red against the black is just
it's killer. I mean, it's beautiful. And if you when you check out the review, you'll see the box. If you remember, the Valor versus Venom boxing was that bright green. So this set in that bright green box was gorgeous, but I you know me, I had to open it. But I thought about it. But yeah, even the wheels on this just covered in mud. So when I saw this, I was like, this is Noel's dream. But here is why I pulled the trigger on this. So I'm walking through Joe Lanta, and a dealer has that set mint in box up on a shelf, and I was like, ooh, I've been kind of looking at that online. I'd like to have $250. No, thank you. Right across the aisle, another seller, mint in box, almost the same condition, $100. And that compelled me to go ahead, because if I had only seen the $100 one, I don't know that I for sure would have bought it. But since the $250 one was sitting right there, and I know the prices online for a mint in box one, I probably would have paid more than the 100, especially with shipping. So I went ahead and bought it. But I told our pal Chance, Second Chance Toys and Collectibles in Georgia, I told him, I was like, here's the scam. If you're going to a toy show, you get 2 booths. You put some of your inventory over here, put the exact same inventory over here, and just mark up this stuff like 150%. And you'll sell out the other booth. That's my idea for anybody who wants to be a scumbag and take advantage of toy collectors. That's how you do it. So yeah, that is my Joe, until I'm thrilled. I can't even put these on the shelf yet because they just look at that. It just looks so good. That red and black is just gorgeous. And I never had the original Crimson set with the SMS. I think it was Sears exclusive. I never had that when I was a kid. So this is like the first Crimson Hiss I've ever owned. And it just looks amazing. All right. Kristian.
And are we going to get that paint scheme and classified? There's the question.
Right. I mean, Emily pretty much confirmed that was on the table. I mean, not this one specifically, but that Hiss repaints were on the table. Kristian, what is your tell?
So for mine, I have tolerated the Dick Tracy Falcon for as long as I possibly could. And I went on eBay and I bought a custom head for him that was already pre-painted. I've taken some pictures. I just have not uploaded them yet. And he's actually still in my photo room on the little display. So now I have the reason. Tomorrow, if you guys look on my Instagram, you'll be able to see my new and improved, oh my gosh, he looks like a human Falcon.
you got rid of the boggling head.
I did.
Excellent. It had to be done.
Yeah.
All right. I'll check in with the chat one more time before we go. Everybody complimenting Noel for those incredible finds. You're not kidding. Rich Murphy. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. You know what? We got to go back up because we've got some great stuff on the animals here. Will R said Shockwave with a German Shepherd, and also R.I.P. Matilda and Winston. Night of the Nerdy Laser, Sergeant Slaughter with 2 Dobermans. I like that. Yorktown Joe, Tiger Force Outback, ironically with a dachshund instead of a tiger.
Yes. Little sausage dog arms.
Ritz asks if I got my Fangor yet. I got my shipping notice today. He hasn't arrived yet, but I think it's supposed to be tomorrow, which shipping notices have been weird lately. Lots of great finds for Noel. Ritz, $100 was a good price for that set. I felt like it was. I feel good about it. Well, and I'm so happy with it. Whatever, either way. Rachel Salinas, Dave, do you have an Agent Faces figure to go with your Crimson Sabotage? As a matter of fact, I do. All of my early 2000s stuff is in a tote, but I do still have. I was actively collecting then, so I've still got all of it.
Night of the Nerdy Laser. That thought definitely crossed my mind. I was like, there's probably a truck that these fell off somewhere, but I'm not going to ask questions.
That's right.
But the thing was, they were all over the place because he had brand new stuff and he had stuff from 2 years ago. So
it might have just been somebody getting rid of it.
Maybe.
And there were a few tables there that were like individuals.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe.
I mean, that's honestly a lot of the vendors were just individuals.
Yeah. Because most of the bigger vendors were in Ohio at PowerCon.
Yeah, there were definitely some of the vendors we would normally see at a show like that. There was no toy department. There was no Destro's Toy Den.
Yeah.
That would typically be at a G.I. Joe convention.
One last one. Christmas Ape. Falcon's head reminds me of Clutch Cargo. And on that note, I will tell everyone our music is by Andy Samford of electricminnowmusic.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast and on X at G.I. Joe Audible. Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about The Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club that raises money for a fantastic organization called Canines for Warriors. We were at Joe Lanta. We brought in some money for canines there, and we're looking forward to, I think our next show is going to be in Greenville for Retro Toy Con coming up this November.
Yes.
So we're going to be setting up a booth there and trying to bring in a little extra charity money for a fantastic organization that pairs rescued dogs with veterans who are injured or suffering from PTSD.
And Kristian, where will we be able to find your handsome Squidward Falcon tomorrow?
You can find me on Instagram and Flickr.com under the name Legion Cub.
And you can find all of us at Dragon Con Labor Day weekend. We'll be there all weekend giving stuff out, but our panel is 1 p.m. September the 1st in Marriott M103 105. Until then, yo, Joe.
Oh.